Guys, welcome back to the Oldtimer channel. Today we're going to talk R9Ts. This time we're not going to talk about a single bike, we're going to talk about two because it's very hard to choose between these two. We have built countless R9Ts. BMW have made the R9T for people to customize them. They give you so many options in customization. The market has immense number of parts for these two bikes. We have went with two completely different styles on this. This is Lucifer. It was intended to be simple, dark, and evil.
Now that is just pure evil.
And this is Iron Man. It was all about technology, being flashy and loud.
This is support Team Blue Zero, sending coordinates for a suspected Mandarin broadcast point of origin.
So we're gonna go about each one separately and explain exactly what we've done to reach this stage.
Is that a promise?
So, as usual, we're going to break this into categories to make it simpler. We're going to talk about protection, performance, ergonomics and comfort, and styling. Keep in mind that some of these categories will overlap. So whenever we install anything, whether for ergonomics, whether for performance, whether for protection, styling is always on our mind because these are road bikes and we wanted to give them a stunning look.
It is to die for.
We're going to start with the protection category because it's the smallest one with these bikes. We do not really need protection on these bikes. These will be pure road bikes. The only piece of protection we used were the radiator guards from Unit Garage, and we used the same one on both bikes. So we're going to start with Lucifer and compare what we've done on Iron Man. For ergonomics and comfort, first thing, we went here with the Gilles tooling rear sets. Now this also is part of styling and part of performance. This will give you a much aggressive look on the bike. They will also give you a much aggressive seating position on the bike. Now because we used clip-ons on this, this was a must. The entire position of the rider changes. The clip-ons were made by Bonamici Racing specifically for this bike because we could not find clip-ons that will fit these forks. Now, the seating position is not as comfortable as Iron Man, and we will explain why. For the seat, we went with a Wunderlich seat. This is made out of Alcantara. It's an extremely comfortable seat, so that will help the rider for longer distances. When you compare it to Iron Man was more targeted for comfort than this. So what we went with riser and a handlebar. The clip-ons would definitely look more aggressive, but it won't be as comfortable as this handlebar. We changed the handlebar also to a Rizoma handlebar in blue, and we added the Rizoma rear sets for this bike. Again, both rear sets are adjustable to the rider's height and rider's seating position. For the seat, we used a custom-made Alcantara with leather seat that goes with the colors of the 719. We inserted the Louis Moto gel on the inside to give that additional comfort. Now, in the category of performance and handling, you will see major differences between the two bikes. The main thing of this bike was to keep it a retro look. Performance and handling was not really a major thing for us.
Oh, well, that is perfect.
On the other side, Iron Man, we've put a lot of effort and parts into performance and handling. Here, what we've done, we've put a full Zard exhaust. This has two mufflers on both sides. It's an extremely loud exhaust, but it is short, and this is something we really wanted because we wanted to keep the rear part of the bike as clean as possible. We also removed the original airbox completely from here, and we removed the snorkel that brings in the air into the airbox, and we covered it with a custom piece. We added cone filters here instead. Now with all this done, we had to retune the bike. It was performing very poorly. and we had to put it in dyno and retune it, and now I think it's pushing around 90 horsepower.
Ooh.
So these two parts were initially intended for design, but they do give some performance, better throttle response. If you move to Iron Man, you will see much more work done on performance and handling. First of all, both forks and rear suspension have changed to all-ins. This will give much better handling on the roads. The wheels, we removed the original wheels and we've put rotobox translucent blue carbon fiber wheels with a red hub to match the styling of the 719. These wheels are much lighter than the original one, and they change the entire behavior of the bike, the way it responds, the way it moves, the way it leans, everything changes. With this change, we also changed, we put on the TRW brake discs that will give around 30% enhanced braking. It is very important for us always to remove the airbox. I think it's one of the worst looking parts on this bike. So we removed the airbox. Again, we put cone filters. And here we used an akrapovic exhaust. Now, this is not something you can buy off the shelf. You won't find this in akrapovic website or something that we sell. We used the headers from an akrapovic R9T titanium header, and then we coupled it with two GP slip-ons from an R6. So the exhaust looks really good. It really cleans up the rear part of the bike. This exhaust is a custom-made piece that we have created. With the change of the suspension and the wheels, we also changed the paralever arm to the Wunderlich paralever arm. This gives you much more capability in tuning the suspension and the way bike handles. Again, because we've changed, we put a much shorter exhaust and we put cone filters. Retuning was a must. So again, we put the bike on the dyno, we retuned it, and we're getting, again, around 90 horsepower out of this bike. Now we come to the biggest category, styling. Everything about these two bikes were about style and the way they look.
Hello.
We went with two completely opposite concepts. With Lucifer, less is better. With Iron Man, more is better.
Maybe it's a bit funny.
We will go through both what we've done. You will see how simple we made this, and you will see how many parts and complications we put on this to get this look. Let's start with Lucifer, from the back to the front. First thing we've done, this was an R9T pure in baby blue color. The tail goes behind the wheel by around 20 centimeters. So the first thing we've done, we chopped the entire rear part of the subframe, completely removed, and we started from there. First thing we've done, we got a tail tidy kit from Wunderlich, which comes with the seat, and it comes with this piece plus a piece that covers the back, but that accepts the original brake lights. We wanted this bike to have nothing protruding, nothing out of place, so what we wanted to do is we made everything flat and simple. So we modified these parts and we put the Atto integral indicators from Kellermann. These are triple function indicators. They're completely flushed with the rear cover and they act as light, brake and indicator. You won't even see them only when you switch on the bike, and they are bright red just to go with the whole concept of Lucifer's eyes. We have used also the Rizoma number plate mount that puts the number plate behind the rear tire with its fender. From there, we went to the front. So we used cone filters, removed the airbox, we used the Zard exhaust, and then we used the AC Schnitzer belly pan to cover the whole thing. Now, this did not fit right away because the exhaust is not the original exhaust. We had to do some adjustments and modifications, nothing major, but we did fit it at the end. From there, we looked at the entire lines of the bike. One of the most important things for us was to get this area here clean and tidy. So we removed the normal handlebars, we put the Bonamici clip-ons on it, and we changed everything on these handlebars. So we put Moto Gadget grips, Moto Gadget indicator, and Moto Gadget mirror, coupled with a Rizoma lever for brake and clutch, and an AC Schnitzer brake and clutch fluid covers. This made this front area very clean and streamlined with the back. However, we still had the gauges which protruded out too much, so we moved the gauge like old style bikes into the side of the bike. Now, we also changed the gas cap to put a retro style gas cap from Wunderlich. We changed the emblem of BMW. We put a CNC emblem that's black and silver, again, that goes along the bike. Of course, as you can see, the whole bike was painted in Nardo gray, and we airbrushed the letters BMW on both sides of the bike. The cylinder heads were painted in black. The oil cover was changed with the Gilles tooling oil cover in black, and then we put loads of Pro Bolt titanium bolts in black as well to cover all the silver parts. We added finally some frame plugs on several areas, again in black and a little bit of silver. The breastplate has also changed. We put the TK Designs breastplate on the front, which looks really much better than the plastic breastplate that comes from BMW. When we went to the front with the headlight of the new 2022 R9T Pure comes LED. Very futuristic, doesn't go with the style of the bike. So what we did, we put a JW Speakers headlight, and we used a Roland Sands design headlight bezel to cover that. That was not an easy job because we had to do a lot of modifications on it. We had to get the rear housing of the headlight from an older BMW for this to fit. So there was a lot of work done on the headlight area. So this is basically what we've done from a styling perspective to this bike. And as you can see, it looks stunning. If you look from behind, you see this amazing flow with no interruptions at all. It looks great from every angle. And this is what we imagine Lucifer would ride if he had a motorcycle.
Don't mind if I do.
Now, moving on to Iron Man. Iron Man's character, he's flashy, he's always loud, he wants to be seen, and this is where we went with this bike.
Textbook narcissism. Agreed?
So we went with more is better rather than less is better. We talked about performance, and you saw the amount of things we've done for performance, but all were related to styling, so I'm not going to talk about it again. In the back, we put the side number plate here instead of the one that's behind the tire. We used the Daedalus integrated lights with Kellermann Atto lights. Now this gives a lot of lighting from behind, and they all triple function: light, brake, and indicator. We moved to the front. We talked about the seat, but here, instead of keeping this open, we used the Rizoma airbox covers, and we airbrushed option 719 on it. Of course, this bike comes in this original color. We haven't changed the color. We just made sure that anything we put goes along with the color. So again, we put the AC Schnitzer belly pan, and we painted it with the same colors as these lines are continuous, going all the way to the bottom of the bike. One of the most prominent features on this bike from styling is the X-ray cylinder head covers. These are acrylic cylinder head covers. They just turn heads. Anybody who sees them goes crazy about them. So the minute you start the bike, you see the oil flowing. We put the Motul oil, so it's red. It looks like the blood of the bike is moving. And it's one of the most eye-catching parts of the bike. Now, again, because we're going with so much sporty look, we added a lot of carbon fiber, frame covers from Ehrenberger and carbon fiber. The covers of the electrical parts are in carbon fiber. The air intake snorkel, again, it's not really required, but we put it again in carbon fiber. Again, focusing on technology and looks, we put the JW Speakers adaptive light. This light, first of all, has an amazing starting sequence, and it is very useful when you're riding in corners, because the minute you turn left, the left side lights up. When you go right, the right side goes up. We put a Rizoma small fairing just to cover the rear of the gauges. Again, the handlebar area completely changed. We put a Rizoma handlebar in blue. We put the Rizoma grips in red, and we put Moto Gadget indicators and Moto Gadget mirrors. Rizoma levers for brake and clutch, and Rizoma oil and brake and clutch reservoir covers. The gas tank cap, again from Rizoma, in black and red. We added loads and loads of titanium blue bolts into the bike. You will see them all over the place. So that also gives that amazing look for the bike. Finally, on the breastplate side, we changed the breastplate. If you have noticed, we put DK designs on Lucifer. With this one, we went with the Rizoma breastplate. And there was one very important reason. First, they look amazing. Then they have this R9T logo in the middle. What we've done, we removed the breastplate. We did some wiring on the inside, and we made that R9T logo light up from inside of the breastplate in blue color, just like Iron Man's heart.
Metal. Oh, wow, yeah!
So, as you can see, two extreme differences of modifying the R9T. This bike is yours to modify.
Tell me, what is it that you truly desire?
Whatever you have in mind, you can do. We can create 100 bikes that look nothing like each other. So with the R9T, it's all about individuality. It's all about how you want the bike to look and how you want it to perform. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or you need any help in building your R9T, please just put a comment below and we will definitely answer you. And stay tuned for the next upcoming video.